Hey guys, insight number 4, we're over in Psalm 27. I'm looking at verse 1. Now this particular psalm, as well as Psalm 23, are not actually in our reading, and I think because they're very familiar to us, but I really felt inspired to pick these two. When I was looking at what I'm going to teach, I was just like, these all resonate around trust. Let's look at trusting the Lord, because we could all do that better, including myself. It's something that we're going to do as an institute class. We've got lots of things that remind us of trust, and we're going to bring those. And how do we even trust the Lord? So that's what we're going to look at right now. How do we actually do this trust the Lord thing? Because for so many of us, it is inherently hard to trust. We've had rough lives so far, and to trust anyone is a big ask. So how do we get to trust the Lord? Because I know a lot of my younger students, they want to know this. And I wanted to know this, and this is a scripture. This psalm has really helped me to know how to trust the Lord, to learn how to do that, to actually learn how to let those walls and those barriers down and allow Him to come in and do the goodness that He can provide, because it is a matter of letting Him in. And it's not an easy thing to do if you don't trust people. If you've had that hurt, and that no matter who you've let in, they've hurt you somehow, or you get threatened and hurt all the time as a child, it is not easy to trust. It is incredibly difficult. You might trust someone with some money, you might trust your spouse not to cheat on you, but to trust them with your guiding your life, that's a lot more. You hang on to that really tightly and don't want to let anyone in. So this really helped me on how to do that. So we're going to look at that in the next insight. But this particular one, we're just looking at the first verse because I love this. And this is repeated a few times through Psalms and throughout the scriptures. But this particular is like the grouping of the line and goes with one of my favorite hymns. See if you can guess which one it is. I'm not going to tell you. See if you can guess it. Put in a comment, see who's right. I want to see who gets it right first off. One of my favorite hymns. Not my favorite hymn, but one of my favorite hymns. All right. There's a challenge for you. See if you can get it. All right. Anyway, 27 verse 1 reads, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid?" And I've written in here, I have light. I fear not. He is my salvation, and in Him I trust. See, the picture that went with insight number 1 is of my scriptures. See, right there. Lovely. So, is the Lord your light? Because He might not be. You might want Him to be, but is He actually your light? All right. So, He is the light that shines through us. So we're all born with this light of Christ. It's in us. But do you access that and allow that light to permeate your soul and life? Or have you locked it down in a small place and don't want to go there? Think about that. Really think about that. Are you actually allowing it to be bright and glow within you and just exude from you? Are you allowing that? Have you met someone that does that just shines bright and you just want to be around them? I've got a few friends like that it just doesn't matter how dreary my day is. Even just seeing them, they're just so bright and happy, and they can be sad, but still they just have this glow and they just make the whole room happier and better. And my goal is to be like that, and that is reflecting that light of Christ that is shown through me, because it's not mine, although it's in me, as a spirit of heavenly parents, it's in me, but it's in that relationship I have with Christ that makes it brighter, that I can shine it forth. And that's that scripture that talks about, you don't put a light on in a candlestick and put it up on a hill and under a bushel. You put it up on a hill so everyone can see it. So don't hide your light. If you've locked that light down because you're too scared of it, or you don't know what it means, or you don't like the way it felt, or it means that you have to give up things that you currently really enjoy, have a think about how much better your life could be if you allowed that light to just more fully just engulf you, because it's so beautiful. So is the Lord your light? In this dreary world, Christ's light is what leads us to salvation and grants exaltation and banishes fear. But we have to allow it. We have to really allow that in, trust in Him, and that will banish the fear. Now, when I talk about banishing fear, it doesn't take it completely away. We still have concerns and worries. Because if we didn't, then I'd be a bit concerned about you. Everybody's got a something. However, in the midst of that, lots of somethings, of the hard things, that light, that joy that comes in this dreary world, Christ's light is what brings that peace that's underneath it. So yes, there's a worry, but underneath it there's just this calming peace that no matter what happens, even if I die, and I don't fear death, because I know where I'm going. And I know I'm going back to the arms of Christ. I know I'm going back to heaven, and I know I'm going back to people I love and care about. So yeah, the pain part of dying, that's a concern, but underneath it is this calming, this is not forever, and I will get to a good place, and it's going to be okay, and that this life is just temporary. It's just this temporary little place that we learn and grow in, and it's not about earning our way into heaven, remember? Please remember that. It's about learning to live there. Don't you want to live there? Don't you want to live in the goodness of just the magnificence of just that peace and all those things you desire, where it's peaceful and quiet and people are nice and kind to each other? Because that has really kind of left the world, hasn't it? It's gotten pretty bad. COVID's made it pretty bad. A lot of angry people out there, a lot of drugged up, angry, drunk, nasty people out there with guns and just don't know any other way. And it's like, don't you just want to live in those areas where none of that exists, where it all just goes away? Don't you want that? I do. So yeah, in this dreary world, Christ's light is what brings that. Even if we have to live in a neighborhood like that, our little area, our little room, or even if we share a room, our little part of our room can be that bright light. Jesus brings salvation to all, so fear not. He can be your strength. Allow him to do this. Because of what he went through, he brings salvation to all of us. We all get salvation. Question is, do you want exaltation? Do you want more than just being saved? Do you want more? Do you desire to be better than you were when you were born? Of course. So work on that. It'll get better. Anyway, getting to the end of time. So, this is a quote from Corrie ten Boom. If you don't know who she is, she's a survivor of the Holocaust from the Second World War and has written a couple of books, I believe, several books, but very well-known speaker around all of this, and she talks a lot about forgiving those that hurt her, and struggling with that trust in people, but she always trusted in God, and I admire that because she had a really rough time, really sucked. And yet she found it within herself to continue to have hope and to go on. And I think for any of us that have been in a survival type situation where all we tried to do is to just get through the next hour, the next minute, let alone the next day. We're not even thinking about the next day. We just want to get through the next minute or the next 20 minutes or whatever it is. And the things that our minds do to survive those things, and the places that we go and the walls we put up and all the things that we go through. It's really hard. It's really, really hard to let people in and trust them. So I really admire her and her journey and the way she was able to do this, and that really helped me. And we're going to talk about that in the next insight, how that actual trust develops. But let's hear from Corrie ten Boom. She said, "Never be afraid to trust an unknown future to a known God." So yes, it's an unknown future. We don't know what's out there. But we do have a known God. We know him. He knows us. We can trust in that. No matter what the future is, we can trust in that he's got us, whether we live or die or get injured or whatever. He's got us. It's okay. It will be okay. And that does bring a lot of questions for a lot of people, but it also brings great hope if you're in the right space, and it's just working to get in that space. So we're going to talk about that in the next one. I will see you there because we're way over time. All right. Check you out soon.